It's Christmas time.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Christmas Carols. If you've been to one of our shows before, then you'll know that we always choose a charity to donate all the proceeds to. This year, I'm very happy to announce that because we do not have a live pianist, and that Samuel Mueller has made all of our tracks for this show, so we can donate 100% of the proceeds that we get tonight to the charity, and that's very exciting. So our charity that we chose for tonight is Got Your Six Network. Got Your Six Network was started by in 2012 by U.S. veteran Chris Marvin, who was working to get military veterans portrayed more accurately in film and television. In 2018, the organization was acquired by the Bob Woodruff Foundation. I heard about this charity through the musical Bandstand, which is one of my favorite musicals, and they actually got certified by Got Your Six for accurate representation of veterans and military. So the concept of this show is we're going to be giving you like a little bit of background on some of your favorite Christmas carols, maybe some things that you've never heard before about where they come from and what the world was like when they were made, and a lot of them center around times of war. And so I thought that a veteran foundation would be a really good fit. So in World War I, American fighter pilots covering the plane's rear position coined the phrase, "I've got your six," like on a clock, "I got your six," to mean I've got your back, an enduring message of support. Through their service, veterans have our backs. When they return home, Got Your Six Network has theirs. Yeah, so enjoy. Rachel is going to tell you a little bit about our first song.
Yeah, so the first song that we will be performing today is "Oh Holy Night," which of course is a wildly popular Christmas song. I'm sure you all have heard it. It was originally written in 1843 by a French poet named Placide Cappeau. So basically he wrote the poem. It was not really intended to be a song, but then a little bit in the future, 5 years later in 1847, he decided that he did want it to be a song, and it was originally performed in opera by Emily Laurie. We will not be performing in an opera today, sorry, but
You could.
Isobel could. So then it starts to make its way to the United States, and in 1855 it was starting to get very popular with the North abolitionists during the Civil War in the United States, because primarily the third verse, speaking about like chains shall be broken and slaves shall be our brothers, just really resonated with them. So that's the reason that it was so popular in America at that time. And even through today, French churches and churches that use French language actually begin most of their Christmas midnight masses with this song, so we thought it would be a really good place for us to start for you today.
It is the night of our dear Savior.
was written in 1937, 8 years into the Great Depression. While the title of the song seems to be tied to the poverty of Americans at the time, it was actually placed in a musical film called On the Avenue, which centers around a rich woman whose on-screen life was untouched by the Depression. Many popular songs at the time were lighthearted, positive tunes meant to lift spirits. Americans didn't want to hear more about their troubles. They wanted a distraction. Music and film became that escape. Something I'm sure we all get after the 2 years that we just had. So that's why we're doing this show tonight, to bring a little Christmas cheer to everybody. So this is I've Got My Love to Keep Me Warm. The snow is snowing, the wind is blowing, but I will weather the storm. Why do I care how much it may storm? I've got my love to keep me warm. I can't remember a worse December.
for an upcoming Paramount picture titled Holiday Inn, composer Irving Berlin had no idea that this song idea that he would revisit, that had been filed away for 2 years, would become the success it did. White Christmas, sung and made popular by singer Bing Crosby, went on to be the best-selling single ever, even though it was first recorded almost 80 years ago. While the lyrics tell a story of serenity and hope, its origins are quite different. Berlin, a Jewish man, did not celebrate Christmas, and on this day each year, he would visit his baby's grave, as this was the anniversary of the day he died. In late December 1941, Bing Crosby sang his first live radio performance of White Christmas, which happened to be less than 3 weeks after the attack on Pearl Harbor. The significance of the events occurring just before his performance made his lyrics resonate with the American people in a powerful way because of the hopefulness they felt from the text. And when Bing Crosby would perform for the troops overseas during World War II, they felt the lyrics reminded them of home, since many of them had to spend their first Christmas separated from their families during the war. For many of them, the song helped them reminisce about Christmases past and hope for a better future when they could return home.
So this next song is I'll Be Home for Christmas. This was a top 10 hit when it first came out in 1943, originally recorded by Bing Crosby, and it was written by Kim Gannon. So this song was written to honor the soldiers that were overseas, that of course could not be home for Christmas, and is reminiscent of letters written home saying, you know, I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams, sort of as to say, you know, I'll be there in spirit if I can't be there in person. And it was written, of course, the point of view of a soldier And this song was actually banned in the United Kingdom when it first came out because it was thought that this song, kind of written from the point of view of Americans, would make the soldiers from the other side a little bit sad and maybe would decrease the morale. So it was banned there for a little bit. And pretty much just the themes in the song circulate around ending the war and wanting to be home where, you know, things are good, and to celebrate with your family and your loved ones. So, without further ado.
During the 40s, the world did a complete 180, from the 30s focusing on fluff to distract them from their troubles, to addressing the hard, gritty reality of World War II. It was hard to pretend when every able-bodied man was overseas and women were taking their place in the workforce, keeping America running. But even in the 40s, they knew when something was just a little bit too sad. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. It could be your last, just doesn't have that same je ne sais quoi, same ring to it. Upon hearing the original lyrics, Judy Garland, who sang the song in Meet Me in St. Louis, refused to sing it until less depressing lyrics were written. While a cheerier ending to the opening line was added, the song maintained its hopeful yet melancholic message that resonated with a world at war. We can appreciate now more than ever treasuring time spent with our loved ones and looking to a future when we can all gather together again.
Next year all our
of Baby It's Cold Outside, when taken at face value, tell the story of a woman repeatedly shutting down the advances of a man who then apparently slipped something into her drink to make her stay. When looked at through a modern lens, this is clearly a problematic song and shouldn't be recorded, right? Well, considering this Christmas carol was actually a feminist anthem of its time, I'd say when looking at this song, historical context is extremely important. It was written in 1944, nearly 80 years ago, and the world was a very different place, and it was generally frowned upon for women to be alone with single men, without a lot of excuses. And so if a woman truly wanted to stay with him, even for a limited time, she'd need those excuses. Excuses that the man in this song consistently provides for her. Oh, you could say, it's cold outside. Another line that is generally fixated upon is, say, what's in this drink? While modern sensibilities would assume that meant the drink was drugged, any Tom, Dick, or Harry in 1944 could tell you that it was a common joke or phrase that someone uses when they want to blame it on the alcohol, even if all they're drinking is a cup of club soda. Instead of the sinister implications of drugs in her drink, this line is actually the woman explicitly telling the man she wants to stay. At the time this song was written, it was deemed too scandalous for radio because of the risque flirting of both parties, but the lyrics were deemed just vague enough to be allowed. Because of the restrictions of the time, if she had given an emphatic yes in this song, the song would have never made it on radio and would never have been as popular as it is today. We wouldn't know anything about it. Now, I'm not saying that we should completely ignore the way, when we listen to it with our modern sensibilities, the way we interpret it. I think it's really important to have these conversations, just as long as we understand that while she isn't explicitly saying yes in the song, she also isn't saying no. She says, I ought to say no, 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 sir. At least she's gonna say that she tried, but that's not no. We decided to put our own twist on the song and have Rachel and I sing both parts, showing the songs from two different perspectives, what autonomy looks like in two very different eras. I really can't stay, it's cold outside. I've got to go away, baby, it's cold outside. This evening has been hoping that you drop in. Think of my lifelong sorrow. At least there will be plenty December.
Last week.
Again.
Do You Hear What I Hear, a song loosely based on the birth of Jesus, has since its composition in October of 1962 become a staple in the American Christmas song repertoire. Written during the height of the Cuban Missile Crisis of the Cold War by married couple Noel and Gloria Shane, this song, which features lots of imagery related to the Christian holiday, was actually not supposed to be religious. Instead, it was symbolic of different things and people related to and impacted by war and living in the fear of nuclear annihilation, with the image of a star actually representing a nuclear bomb being detonated. In light of this original context, the song really centers around the climactic phrase, "Pray for peace, people everywhere," more so than anything else. Instead of writing a song about the joy of the Christmas season, Regnier and Shane composed this piece to express the fear that they had of a possible nuclear war between the United States and the USSR, and their plea for an end to this terrifying conflict. Send the night wind to the little lamb. Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? Way up in the sky, little lamb. Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? A star dancing in the night with a tail as big as a kite. With a tail as big as a kite. Said the little lamb to the shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? Do you hear what I hear? Ringing through the sky, shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? Do you hear what I hear? The song, high above the trees, with a voice as big as the sea, with a voice as big as the sea. Step the shepherd boy to the mighty king. Do you know what I know? Do you know what I know? In your palace for mighty king. Do you know what I know? Do you know what I know? The child shepherds in the let us bring him silver and gold. Said the king to the people everywhere, listen to what I say. Pray for peace, people everywhere. Listen to what I say. The child, sleeping in the night, he will bring us goodness and light. He will bring us goodness and
So this is our last song before our intermission. We made it.
We've never had one of those before.
Yeah, so if you've been with us from the beginning, it's our first intermission. It's very exciting. So this song is called Someday at Christmas. This was originally recorded by Stevie Wonder on his 8th studio album, and it was released on November 27th, 1967. And at this point, the United States was at war. They were in the Vietnam War. This was a war that left over 300,000 men suffering long-term abuse. So there was PTSD that led to alcoholism, led to drug abuse, led to divorce, and even in some cases suicide. So obviously this is, a heavy topic for this song. And even 60 years from when the song was released to about where we are now, people are still suffering the long-term effects of this war. And this song was re-recorded later by Michael Jackson, who leaves us with this quote which he spoke while in the process of recording this song. And that is, if you enter this world knowing that you are loved and leave knowing the same thing, everything that happens in between can be dealt with. Someday at Christmas, there won't be boys playing with bombs like kids play with toys. One more December, our hearts will see a world where men are free. Someday at Christmas, there'll be no wars when we have learned what Christmas is for. When we have found what life's really worth, there'll be peace on earth. Someday all our dreams will come to be. Someday in a world where men are free. Maybe not in time for you and me, but someday at Christmas time. Someday at Christmas we'll see a land, no hungry children, no empty hand. One happy morning people will share a world where people care. Someday at Christmas there'll be no tears, when all men are equal and all man has fears. One shining moment, one prayer away from our world today. Someday all our dreams will come to be. Someday in a world where men are free. Maybe not in time for you and me, but someday at Christmas time. Someday at Christmas, man will not fail. Hate will be gone and love will prevail. Someday a new world that we can start with hope in every heart. Someday all our dreams will come to be. Someday in a world where men are free. Maybe not in time for you and me, but someday at Christmas time. Someday at Christmas
And now we have our lovely 15-minute intermission. You can use this time to use that QR code and donate, and remember to write down how much you donate and do all the things. And yes, support the people that we have mentioned very often in the show so far. Yeah, have fun. We will be back.
Welcome back, everybody. So this song, John Lennon and Yoko Ono's Christmas song, Happy Christmas, War is Over, reflects the couple's message they wanted to share with the world about the Vietnam War. Instead of being written after the conflict was over, they wrote this song before the war had actually ended as a way to protest the Vietnam War and promote peace. It was a call to action, with Lennon expressing his and Ono's belief that if enough people unite peacefully with a common goal, and they can get together, make a change. And that if people really want something to happen, and enough people do, then it inevitably will. To stray away from the sentimentality that is so common with Christmas music, John Lennon and Yoko Ono instead spread their message about human beings' power to make a change so that they work together, with their song saying, "War is over if you want it." So this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over, a new one just begun, and so summer of 1984, singer George Michael began recording his vocal line and every instrumental track for his future hit, Last Christmas. Even though the song has remained a popular Christmas song, it would never make it to the #1 spot in the UK charts until 2021, instead being edged out in 1984 by another Christmas song featuring George Michael's vocals, the charity single, Do They Know It's Christmas, written by Bob Geldof and Midge Uri. This song, performed by Band Aid, was created to raise money for the people in Ethiopia who were dealing with a famine in 1984, and George Michael decided the royalties from Last Christmas to go to the same cause. However, in addition to the lyrics of Do They Know It's Christmas containing inaccuracies and insensitivities regarding the crisis in Ethiopia, the money raised did not help the people of the country out like it was intended, because it actually ended up being used by the Ethiopian military dictatorship, who played a significant role in the famine in the first place. Also ironically, when writer Midge Uri defended his work after coming under scrutiny, he said that its purpose of raising money was the most important and that the song didn't matter and was almost irrelevant. And while the lyrics of this song have not aged well, those of Last Christmas have remained timeless due to their complexity of emotions sung over relatively simple musical components.
Once bitten and twice shy, I keep my distance, but you still catch my eye. Tell me, baby, do you recognize me? Well, it's been a year, it doesn't surprise me. Happy Christmas. I wrapped it up and sent it with a note saying I love you, I meant it. Now I know what a fool I've been. But if you kiss me now, I know you fool me again. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Friends with tired eyes, I'm hiding from you and it's full of ice. My God, I thought you were someone to rely on. Me, I guess I was a shoulder to cry on. A face on a lover with a fire in his heart. A man undercover, but you tore me apart. Ooh, now I found a real love will never fool me again. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away.
just want to let you guys know that the running total for everybody here in person is $258.
Alright, so the next song we have is Grown Up Christmas List. You might be familiar, there's two versions that are really popular. So the first one was recorded by Natalie Cole in 1990, and the other one was recorded by Amy Grant in 1992. But it was written by David Foster, and honestly, this song, if you have heard it or if you haven't, it is one that's just really timeless. With a lot of the ones that we did in the first act, they sort of are talking about things of the past, things that have happened, but this one, almost 30 years later, is still really, really relatable. So, talking about, in general, just things in the world that you wish that you could change, and talking about what is really important at Christmas time, instead of getting more things or focusing on material possessions. This is a more secular way of viewing what is really, really important in terms of the human condition.
This is my only life
So the next song we have is Mary, Did You Know? So this song is written from the viewpoint of someone talking with Mary, the mother of Jesus, asking her questions like, did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? So essentially asking Mary, like, did you understand the weight and how honored you were to have been chosen to carry the Son of God? While doing research into this song, I ran across a lot of things that were theology points of view from people who were Catholic, people who were Lutheran, all different types of Christianity, and other faiths as well, saying that they thought that this song was sexist, that they thought it was sort of implying that Mary didn't understand what she was doing and she didn't fully grasp how important it was. And to that, I would like to remind everyone that Mary was 13 years old. She was a child. This was her first baby. She had never had a baby before. She had never been married before. So this entire experience was new to her. So the extent of what she knew, of course, is going to be less than somebody who has experienced this before. But I think when we really go back and look at all Mary did for humanity, that she did know. Maybe not to the extent that we know now, but she did understand the gravity and how important it was that she was chosen. And this song was written in 1984 by Mark Lowry and Buddy Green, and there have been many different versions of this song throughout the years, but I think it still holds up today as not being sexist, but sort of pondering in awe at all that Mary had done and how important it was that she said yes and she allowed herself to be part of this story.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know
song that I'll be singing is Breath of Heaven. This song was originally written by Chris Eaton, and he brought the song to Amy Grant, and he asked her, if she would sing the song, and she said that she liked the song, but that Chris was a man, and he would never fully grasp the emotions of what Mary is thinking. He would never fully grasp what it's like to be a pregnant woman, since he was a man. So she asked if she could change some of the lyrics before she recorded the song. So some of it is written by Chris Eaton, primarily like the chorus, but most of the verses are written by Amy Grant, and she felt really compelled to record this song quickly after they had started the project because it was around Christmas time, so she did want to release it before Christmas so that it could be enjoyed during that season. But also, she was pregnant with her third child at the time, so she felt that she was in a similar place to where Mary was when these types of thoughts would be crossing through her mind. Why was I chosen? Would there have been somebody else who should have taken my place? These sort of fallbacks that Mary might have been thinking. And she really liked how the song was simple yet profound. And she really, really took to this experience, and she gained a lot from it.
I say a good song.
Underneath the Tree, composed by Kelly Clarkson and Greg Kirsten, is an optimistic song of thankfulness and love for those we hold dear, written for her first Christmas album, Wrapped in Red, which was released before the 2013 Christmas season. While people have sung about the different things that they want for Christmas over the years, whether that be a hippopotamus, a train or a hula hoop, or their two front teeth, this song emphasizes that having friends and family is what really matters. As the holiday season continues to become more and more commercial every year as the world changes, this song reflects what the singer really feels is important during Christmas time, being grateful for having the people we love in our lives and cherishing our time with them.
There's a theme to this show. Noel was penned by Chris Tomlin with his producer Ed Cash and English worship singer-songwriter Matt Redman for their Christmas worship album. His hope was that it would fit in with other timeless Christmas songs. He said there's something ancient about the melodies in that song that gives it a timeless feel, and I agree. There's a lyric in the chorus, "Come and see what God has done." Those words were really what he wanted us to focus on. He wanted to record worship songs about the true meaning of Christmas. He wanted to focus on the birth of Jesus, and I love the song. And that's all I have to say. Thank you. was written in 2017 by Sia. It is called Puppies Are Forever. And a little bit of info about that song. The Dogs Trust posted that in the last 4 years, in the last 4 years, the 2 weeks leading up to the 25th of December, searches of Get a Dog increased by around 27%, while the week before Christmas saw a spike of 44% on the online search Buy a Puppy. But when the new year rolls around, searches of people wanting to give up their dog increase by 8%. Adoptions of pets also drastically increased over COVID-19, and while many feared that once the world returned to work, the number of surrendered pets would skyrocket, the percentage has actually decreased since 2019 and is not statistically significant. However, there are still shelters all across the country currently being overwhelmed by pet surrenders. When you are adopting a pet, it is a life that you are responsible for. It's not just gift. So if you or anybody you know is planning on giving a puppy specifically to a friend, make sure that they know that that's a gift you are getting them and that they are willing and responsible, or they are willing to be responsible for that life. Also, if you know anybody who absolutely has to surrender their pets, surrender to animal rescues or foster homes and skip over the shelter system, because a lot of people have in their heads that when they surrender their pets, they're giving them a chance at getting a family who will be a better fit for them, but that's not what shelters do. Adopt from kill shelters to keep them below capacity. I know a lot of people who are activists about this say don't adopt from kill shelters, don't support that, but by not adopting from them, you are supporting it because they will only euthanize animals if they are over capacity. So adopt to keep them below from capacities. Adopt, don't shop. Because there are so many stray animals in this country and in the world that need a home, and they are just as good as anyone you could buy, like $300. Yes. Pets can be a true light in your life, and if one thing is true in life, it's that puppies are forever, not just for Christmas. Oh, how much for the puppy in the window? I can see him being so alone. I believe he sees a friend in me. Oh, how much for the puppy in the window? How I love his little pink nose. I think he's waiting to come home with me. Best friend down at the old
say the last 2 years have been difficult for the whole world would be an understatement. Due to the global pandemic, the way of life a lot of us had become used to had to change, and this was felt significantly, particularly during Christmas 2020, when many Christmas traditions had to be changed or altered. With the fear of illness and spreading it to those we love, it's been hard to see the good things around us at this difficult time in history. In an effort to bring a little light into the darkness, last winter in Christmas season, Dolly Parton released her Christmas album, A Holly Dolly Christmas, which contained her original song, Christmas Is, a song about reflecting on the real meaning of the holiday and what really matters. Because when it comes down to it, after spending last Christmas away from our loved ones, it's important to focus on kindness and making the world a better place.
Charity, and the true meaning of Christmas, for God so loved the world, love. I hope the show brought you some joy and Christmas cheer, and I hope you'll tell your friends about it and share the video with them. Did I mention this was filmed? We had such a blast putting this together in 3 days. Well, we did some of the work at home. I got home on Thursday afternoon, and then we had 2 days of rehearsal, and then we did this, so... And, like, I couldn't have done it. Like, Sam and Rachel did so much amazing work, and really set us up for success.
Especially Sam, who did all of our tracks again.
Yes. For really taking initiative on this show. The first show we ever did, I did like everything, and then the second show, I let them write their own like intros to the songs. And this show, they took it. This is mostly their show. I also want to say an extra thank you again for Sam for making all the music tracks for the show, as well as putting together all the rehearsal materials and streamlining this process so we could put it all together once rehearsal started. I want to thank my dad for his help with the show. From providing me rides to being our sound man and setting up the camera and just being generally helpful. A huge thank to Intersect Art Center for being our host. We love this place. It's like the perfect, if you've been to our last two shows, it's like the perfect combination of Johnson Hall, like with the stage and the acoustics of the chapel. So, and a huge thanks to you guys for your support and your donations, for showing up tonight and being a great audience. Give yourself a round of applause. Yes. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. We tried to get you out before the sunset, so yeah, thank you so much for